get it today, guys. This one's a little bit, I would say, light to medium in terms of intensity today. My emphasis is probably going to be more on pulling and reinforcing kind of my traps and upper back. So, a lot of the posterior support system here today. So, I want to warm that up. One of the things, too, with my grip that I found a great mobility exercise for the bicep brachialis, for the forearm flexor. Anytime you have like pain in the elbow or shoulder, this is a great mobility move for that. So I like to do these. This is a rifle flip. So I get a nice kind of flip full rotation, and then I'm extending my arm all the way out, and then I'm kind of snaking it over the top of that stick, really kind of spiraling it out. And then we repeat on the other side. Reach it over and across. It's good. This helps to kind of unwind all that tension in the forearm and shoulder. It totally looks cool. I know. A couple more times. Just to emphasize that. If you notice, a lot of the stuff I do, it's like I'm really unwinding, literally. I'll do that at home too. If I have any tension in my back, I'll do some Eldoa moves where we're addressing a lot of those fascial lines, and we're getting traction in my spine. So that's a little more if I have a real pain or tightness in my back, like there's ways to address that. And I'm sure I'll run into that at some point in the series, and then we'll kind of go into that a little further. But also hip hinging, like the posterior chain for me, it's starting to kind of get tight and restricted. So I need to put a little more emphasis on this. So I can create tension by pushing the stick on my back, drawing in my core and sliding those hips back. So I'm trying to push my butt into the wall behind me. Emphasize those hamstrings. Dig my heels into the ground. Work my way to the ground here. This is also one of my favorites. I do this a lot for athletic warm-ups. I usually walk with it and kind of do. I like a lot of. You guys picking up Adam? He's loud. But it's okay. You know what? I brought him into our workout today. I invited him. It's funny. There's different times throughout the day where we're all working on different things. And so this is one of those days. No music, just the sound of everybody doing work. Here's the move. It's a inchworm, and we're going to go into like an upward facing dog. So that combo of the two, it's great because we're addressing the posterior chain, and then also too we're working on the lower back and gaining stability and strength there as well. So we're going to get into a push-up position. I'm going to kind of walk my hands back and drive my heels into the ground. I keep walking, so I pike my hips, really light up my hamstrings, squeeze my legs into extension. And then we're going to do the opposite. I'm going to come down with my hips towards the ground. I'm going to press and lock my elbows. Oh, I just had a thought. Have I told you about Promethean bioregulators? Well, they've been great. They've been fantastic in keeping my joints healthy and my tissue healthy throughout this entire process. You guys should go check it out. Go pick some up. They're helping sponsor this whole series. Do me a favor. Go to their website. Grab yourself some bioregulators. Okay. Drive back with my head. Really get the anterior opposite of that. Come back up. So in place, but you can definitely do this walking, which I prefer. The emphasis here is really to squeeze an extension of the hips for support of that lower back. You can always isolate one leg and really put emphasis. This right leg of mine is talks to me the most, so sometimes I like to put a little added mustard on it. I hate mustard, though. That's a bad example. I don't know who likes mustard. Oh, psychos. Two things I would eliminate from the condiment options: mustard and mayonnaise. Ugh. No thanks. A couple things. This is definitely not light. Our 135 barbell over here. We're going to do some holds and reinforce my grip strength here and control. So I'm going to do some suitcase holds. And again, this is a long lever, so extra challenging to control it from rotating and dipping down and back. So you really got to find that axis point right in the middle. Get that balance right before you really kind of hold it and secure it. Okay, so you feel sometimes the back end comes up too much. We adjust. There we go. I like it off the rack because the emphasis here, I'm just trying to control it and get in good posture. Not trying to pick it up from the ground necessarily. It's heavy, but it doesn't feel too bad. So based on the other workouts I've done so far, which are isometrically heavy, I'm already starting to feel the impacts of that emphasis on recruitment and generating more force potential. So that all really starts to kind of kick in and help you kind of acclimate to heavier weights pretty quickly. So this is why in a lot of the performance-based programs, you'll see either emphasis on tempo, slow tempo, or isometric holds, because it's a great way to really ramp up your strength potential and control. And also it's less damaging. So this is a nice little hack to kind of bring back that strength. All right, let's do another set. Jerry! I want to stay lean. I want to stay mean. I take my creatine. Gummies. The slightest little bit of imbalance, it really goes far. The whole thing dips, and then you're accounting for that whole rep. So it was just a little bit unbalanced, and definitely makes it more challenging. No chalk. Okay, that's another point. This is all going to be without, well, we'll see. I'm thinking no belt. I'm thinking, no support, no wrist wraps, none of that stuff. Because for me, and again, this is kind of my own philosophy, if I can't pick it up without any kind of support, I'm not really strong enough yet. And that stems down to hand strength and feet strength. Need to work in building and developing that to progress. Otherwise, it's an easy thought to now account for that with these aids in terms of straps and belts and different elevated shoes and all of these things to kind of help compensate for some of these imbalances, which are really weaknesses. So come at me in the comments about that, all you belted people. A little front heavy with that. It's nice and challenging. We'll do one more set and then I'm gonna move on to some heavier farmer carries. It'll be good to get the heavier kettlebells out here. Take them for a ride. It's like a library, dude. I don't like working out without music. We're gonna make this the lamest workout yet. Yeah. Or I'm gonna have to sing. So I'm just gonna sing to myself. It's so funny. This is a big reminder that I'm like completely driven by music, and it's like part of my ritual in terms of working out. And so I've had to do workouts though where it's quiet and you're in a gym and you forgot your headphones and it's like so let's just that's what's happening today. So I have to hear my inner thoughts, which is like, that's horrible. I don't like what lives in here. Focus. Round 3, fight. Nope. Look at that. Nose diving. Nope. Too much. Jeez. 3 bears, A little too hot, a little too cold. Just right. Nope. Just right. Nope. Jeez. All right, that was like horribly balanced, but it's I'm not gonna sit there and adjust all day. Sometimes you just got to do it. Great for hand strength. I'll tell you what. That was something I really had to deliberately work on, was grip strength. I feel like there's people that are just naturally good at pushing, and then the pullers, they're a different breed. Oh man, I was nose diving the whole time. I'm trying to stick with pretty much what I've been eating, which is consists of a lot of protein from animal sources. It's like the beginning of my meal every time. Even for breakfast, I'll try and scramble up some eggs and sausage or bacon. And sometimes right now I'm kind of increasing by taking whey protein as a shake after I eat breakfast on my way to work. I'm trying to load up my morning more substantially because I went for years like cutting out breakfast and noticed a steady decline in my energy and performance in the gym, and it just started to get adapted, and my metabolism felt a lot like slower and sluggish. So addressing that morning eating window has actually had a crazy effect for me, so beneficial effect. So loading it more heavy there. And then for lunch, again, I'm kind of, it depends on if I'm working out that day, I might add a bit more carbs like rice. I might do another cup in there versus like minimal rice and chicken or steak or whatever I get, usually a Mexican bowl. Try to stick with something simple like that, or like something from last night for dinner. Then, I'll warm up and eat. It's usually ground beef or some kind of chicken or steak. And then we build out. I mean, not a lot of vegetables, just enough to kind of provide some roughage for digestion. Um, and then, so let's say I'm probably around like, I don't know, 2,600, 2,700 calories right now. And I want to kind of actually bump that up progressively here. So thinking like 200 calories at a time, and I'm kind of accounting for that with a shake. I'm actually drinking more milk, and I do have a little tiny intolerance. It's nothing substantial as long as I kind of spread it out throughout the day, so it doesn't affect me too bad. But dinner's always been my big meal, and I usually do like a pound of some kind of meat, like tri-tip or something substantial from Butcher Box, skewers, or it's really not that exciting. It's just meat-based diet. Drinks, nothing crazy. I've actually tried to taper down on energy drinks, which my son's called me out on that. So caffeine is one, nitro in the morning, and then I kind of base the rest of the day off of like if I need a little bit more caffeine. But there you go. There's my little brief nutrition update. All right. So now we're going to do some farmer carry. So I'll be on the move here. Now we're up to like 90 pounds or so. And I want to start loading these movements more substantially so I can really account for those little opposing forces, lateral forces, rotational forces as I'm on the move. And try to secure that with heavier weight. It gets more intense, the more weight we're loading. So heavier weight definitely wants to pull you left to right. This is one of my favorite exercises, I'm gonna be honest. Immediately when you set it down, you feel good. It like naturally just puts you in good posture, and it like keeps it all nice and supported. You almost feel taller after you're done, if you're doing it right. Again, moderate to low intensity today, Dylan. You're keeping me to that. This is where I wish we still had turf. It looks cooler in here, so that's the compromise. This will probably be the last time we do a workout like in the midst of prime time work hour here. Never again. Just mark that off as this is not as fun. But sometimes you got to do what's not as fun. That's the lesson today. It's all psychological games. All right, last set.
Don't overthink this. Use the feedback, the comments that you're getting, the likes you are or not getting.
Slow, deliberate, weird walk. It's almost robotic because I'm trying to stay tight and controlled the whole way. I wonder if Adam knows that they'd hear him even if he doesn't yell. All right. Okay, something I wanted to make sure I covered today was rear delts, so that'll be at the end of the workout. But we're going to keep on this kind of pulling theme here today, so we'll just do some seated rows next with the cables. I actually quite enjoy it with the cables. And to keep it somewhat moderate intensity, it's a great option. My lower back is something I'm always kind of trying to consider too. I'm not trying to trash or expose when I'm fatigued my lower back to forces. So this is a good way to kind of calculate, okay, if I've been doing anything that's really taxing, especially if I'm holding anything overhead, I'm going to scale the rest of the workout away from anything that's too taxing in a bent over position on my back. So not that I didn't have anything overhead, so technically I could do some bent over rows, but this is a good way to keep my natural tendencies at bay. So we're going to move over to the cables next. So I'm going to keep about 10 to 12 reps here.
When someone comments, when someone's talking to you, engage in that person. This is how you use social media to figure out what is my unique selling proposition.
I like how that feels with a supinated grip.
Sure what's best. What you do is you go out, you go with the intention of adding value to as many people as you possibly can. You allow the feedback to steer and guide what your unique.
If I was to stick to my theme, I should be doing this with one arm, but kind of improvising here. It's now going to one arm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people ask in the comments, as at this point I have no idea. Yes, I do add rotation to my rows. Yes, ideally you start with your weak side if it's something that you're trying to bring up to speed. My left side's always surprisingly strong, especially for holding. Definitely don't use it as much. So some movements I am a bit more weak and restricted with that, but yeah. So if you guys haven't checked out any of the webinars Sal and Adam are doing, that's what's happening right now. We're practicing and working on improving the overall quality of the webinars by doing a little dress rehearsal. But they provide a lot of value, especially if you're a coach or a trainer. I highly suggest you check them out. Geared more towards the business end of things, how to get leads, sales, how to kind of promote yourself through social media. And a lot of those subjects, we're trying to help empower trainers so they can have staying power in the business. So, there's a lot of a lot of trainers that get in and have a lot of, focus on really helping people and improving their skills as a trainer and getting educated. But there's really not a lot of emphasis on running your own business and really kind of taking that on. So that way you can keep the lights on. You can keep really focusing on that as your career and your main source of income. There's a way to do it. It's definitely challenging and difficult, especially in the beginning. But this is a deficit that we saw as trainers forever. And I hate seeing good trainers fall off because they just can't keep the revenue coming in. So definitely something to consider if you've even flirted with the idea of personal training, which is a rad career if you can put all the pieces together. But the business side of it's a lot more important than is emphasized, especially from certifications. So we all make unique sounds, don't we? Weird sounds that come out of me all the time, especially when I work out. I still like neutral grip for my wrist, trying to kind of work with my body's natural anatomy preferences there. But yeah, call it a chin up. Go ahead. I don't care. So we're just going to give about 6. Full range of motion. Okay, so for context, I'm 233 pounds. A little bit heavier than normal. I kind of sit at like 225, 230. I kind of swing back and forth. But I'm hoping I gained a bit of muscle over the last few weeks. But I've increased calories a bit, so I'll be paying attention to that. But I don't mind. Get big or die. Yeah. I'm not on team skinny, dude. Let's put some mass on and throw some stuff around. Pull-ups. Oh, how I love thee.
Well, is this an okay time? I like this because I know that, I know Doug says this a lot too, that sharing a story to make platforms, and then the next step is learning.
Oh, that last one was a weak sauce. Fatigue setting in with that. When you get a pump in your forearm, it's actually terrible for performance. Not my favorite. Once it gets to that point, I'm like, won't be doing a lot more heavy gripping of any kind once I get that crazy pump. So fatigue sets in early at that point, and then the fingers start to kind of release and all kind of gets away from you. Okay. Pull-ups. Rear delts. So we can accomplish this with cables, or let's do it with cables in one arm. And this is one of those that Adam kind of helped teach, and I picked up on it because this is all about placement, and it's a really short range of motion. And being able to kind of target and help isolate the rear delts with the cable, I feel like it's a little more effective. So we'll do it with one arm across the body, right about here to here. The emphasis here is to push my arm out like a wing and not squeeze my shoulder blade in. An emphasis on that winging part. It helps to have a mirror because I can't really see. It's a feel thing too. Okay, we're going to get into a little bit more of a functional movement here. So we call these kettlebell arm bars. And that way now I can add a little more dynamic movement while stabilizing an overhead, somewhat overhead position, more of a horizontal press position, but locking that in with my shoulder. And I'll be laying down on the ground. Don't need a lot of heavy weight with this. So I'm conscious too, tomorrow I'm going to LA for a podcast, and we're also doing a vlog where they're gonna have us working out, and I don't really know what that's all gonna entail. So too, I wanted to make sure this is like low intensity, kind of moderate movement, and I'm incorporating because I anticipate it being anytime other people want to film you exercising and doing things and want that kind of intensity involved or a high pace, and I'll be pretty conscious of that and control it for what's best for me right now, but I don't want to overdo it today. I just want to kind of get through the movements and sharpen it up. So this is a good kind of flow pattern that helps with control in my hips and T-spine. So I'm packing my shoulder. I'm keeping this in front of my head. I'm bringing my leg up, and I'm going to bring it across my body as I kind of emphasize my way up here.
That's okay, it's who I am. I'm not going to pretend I'm somebody else. I'm going to be, and people will resonate with that. And so, a mistake that trainers make is they try and act like there's something they are not, and that's where that imposter syndrome comes from.
So a bit of a scorpion, I guess you would say. This is more of a supine scorpion than a prone scorpion. So my eyes are trying to stay centered on the kettlebell. My hips come up and rotate over across. That lumbo-pelvic hip function. Got to put it through rotation. Yeah, I like this for a cool down kind of flow pattern. So static stretches are really good for that too, to really get you in that parasympathetic state. So you just start to bring that heart rate down, you slow things down. Nice, slow, controlled breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Some people could do belly breathing after a workout, and that's totally cool as well. But I like to do really low intensity type of mobility flow patterns like this to kind of iron out the kinks and just bring my heart rate level down and start focusing on recovery. Yeah, I always get these nice little pops in my spine and hips. Who needs a chiropractor anyway? We call this the self-adjuster. Yeah, another little hack. Anytime I'm on the ground at home, I'm pressing my lower back into the ground. Or a wall. If I can, I'll get up, press the back of the nodule of my head, my lower back into the wall, external rotation out of the shoulders, pressing my back of my hands into the wall. This is our wall test. But you can do this on the ground with less intensity. And it's great for just getting everything to pull back, because what do we do all day long is reach forward. Our shoulders naturally just come forward and our head comes forward, And this little shrimp like rounding of the back happens over time. And so we need to counter that by doing those drills continuously whenever you can think of it. It's going to make a massive impact. Oh, so there. A little slower pace, a little less exciting workout, but meaningful nonetheless. I feel that. That was meaningful. So until next time, I'll do something cooler. I promise. We'll see you guys. Ask some questions for me because I like interacting. I don't like talking for this long. It's alien to me. So help me out. All right. We'll see you next time.